Welcome to the EarthVox podcast. The EarthVox podcast. EarthVox podcast.
And we're live on Rumble, X, YouTube, and Twitch. Holy smokes, that's loud. I'm scrambling a little bit this morning. Trying to get things set up the way I want them to be set up. And also monitoring myself, making sure everything sounds good. I think we're good to go. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live chat, which I am monitoring currently on YouTube. I don't know how these people do it, man. Monitor, stream. I mean, I don't think I'm the only one, right? Streaming to multiple platforms simultaneously and trying to keep track of all the live chats. I'm sorry. I'm all by myself. We also have an audio version available, released shortly after the stream on Apple and Spotify and whichever preferred audio podcast platform you like to use. Make sure you follow me on X at earthvox, on minds.com at the earthvox podcast, and you can hit me up on Discord or on the PlayStation Network or on Steam. I'm a gamer. I like to game, although I'm not much on PC anymore. So if you sent me a message on Steam, try sending it somewhere else. The email is also the real earthvox at protonmail.com, which I've been considering changing because thinking back to my days as an independent musician, people would trying to come up with a band name is very difficult because it's got to be cool, but it's also got to be something that another band hasn't taken already. So if you go to make your email or your website, your web address, your URL, you got to make sure it hasn't already been taken. So oftentimes it's a quick fix to just put the real in front of whatever your preferred name of choice is. As I mentioned before, earthvox is just my gamer tag. It's got a story behind it, but it kind of stuck. It was my online persona. So upon creating this latest iteration of this podcast, I just decided to go with earthvox. It's available. It's mine. It's uniquely me. And it isn't something that many people have come up with. Thank you very much for joining me. We go live every Sunday. Well, I go live with you 11 a.m. every Sunday. As I said, I'm scrambling a little bit this morning, just trying to get everything straight. I'm on my own today. I have no quality control, quality assurance, so I'm throwing my earbud in to monitor the quality of the show as we go. And if you would like to weigh in on anything I have said, or will say, please leave me a voicemail, 701-787-1121. Now, I went upstairs last night about midnight. And the door to the basement stairs, which is where my man cave is, and my podcast studio is down in the basement. I come up the basement stairs, which enter more or less into the kitchen, where the dog door is. Now, when my wife goes to bed, the dogs go to bed with her, and that's where they stay. Unless they think they may find food left out by my kids somewhere, then they'll come down and explore for an hour or so before they go back to bed. As I come through the basement door into the kitchen, I hear the dog door click. And the first thing I think is it's one of the neighbor cats, because this is something that we dealt with in the wintertime, because people move out of their houses. And since people are losers, they leave their animals behind. And these poor animals, although I'm not a fan of cats, I'm even more not a fan of animal cruelty and neglect. So when I hear my dog door click, I think, oh, one of the neighbor cats is trying to come into my house and eat my food off of my counter because they're hungry and their owner left them behind. So I turn on the patio light and I open the door and I put my head out into the garage / carport. And I smelled a skunk. And I don't know if skunks just kind of generally stink like a skunk in their everyday comings and goings, but I imagine that they do. They got a little skunk smell, whether they spray it or not. And I think a skunk was trying to get into my kitchen at about midnight last night. And this may be why people aren't as enthusiastic about dog doors as I am, because dog doors are amazing. They're a little bit of a pain. You got to cut a hole in the door, fix your apparatus in there. But then after that, once your dog learns that there's a little door they can go in and out, come and go as they please, it's a beautiful thing. Your dog doesn't have to whine at the door or scratch the door or pee in your house. Just goes outside, does its business. Goes outside, barks at the cats, goes outside and barks at the mailman. It's kind of a pain. We're always after our dog for its bad behavior. And I was 100% on team dog door until a skunk tried to get into my house last night. So I immediately slapped they have a plastic piece that you can slide over the dog door from inside that shuts it off to the outside world and the inside world for that matter. But then you run the risk of finding a little gift on your floor downstairs when you get up in the morning. So let me know what you think. Where do you come down on dog doors? Maybe I'll put a poll on my X profile. See what the general consensus is. I'm not really that concerned about the weather efficiency. I do feel a lot of cold air blowing around the cracks of the dog door in the wintertime. I think that's a welcome sacrifice to make when it comes to do I want to let my dog in and out whenever they please? Because we've all been through this before, right? You let the dog out, the dog goes out, 2 seconds later wants to come back inside. You let them back inside, 2 seconds later they want to go back outside. Who wants to deal with that? Until you have wild creatures trying to come in your house in the middle of the night. I mean, I guess maybe the solution is put your food away before you go to bed, which is kind of a tall order for me. So the news was this week kind of boring. Not particularly. It's not that it's boring. It's that it goes in circles, right? This thing happens. Oh, we've announced this investigation. Hey, great, this investigation is happening. Is anything going to come of it? Well, we don't know. We hope so. Until this weekend. And the riots began. And I don't know. I guess I was right. If you're a fan of the show, you know that prior to the November election, I was predicting that the election would be stalled or obstructed, impeded in some way by illegal immigrants. They were throwing around The right to vote. The blue cities and states wanted to give immigrants the right to vote. Wanted to grant them amnesty, make them legal United States citizens for all intents and purposes. I predicted this was somehow going to interfere in the election, and I guess I was wrong, which is fine. When you make predictions, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. But I guess I was right in a way about the immigrant riots, but I was wrong about the impact on the election. Now it's the weekend, and the weather is nice, and people have been predicting this for a while. Once the weather gets nice, the riots will begin. And it seems the globalist NGOs are carrying out attacks on American law enforcement. We have anti-ICE protests because ICE is in California. ICE is in Los Angeles because that's where, as you would imagine, a large number of illegal immigrants are living. I give you this post from @WallStreetApes on X. He writes, they write, my feed is flooded with California Democrats saying Donald Trump is only trying to make a spectacle of Los Angeles by calling in the National Guard. Are they insane? Follow along on the stream, which you can go back and watch later if you're finding the audio podcast during your work week. Number one, ICE protesters throwing bricks at federal officers. There's a guy in a motorcycle helmet. Throwing rocks at Border Patrol vehicles. Not just all vehicles. Government vehicles that are, man, I don't have the temperament. I don't have the temperament for this kind of work because I might just accidentally steer my Border Patrol rig up onto the curb. It's what, I mean, of course I wouldn't actually do that, and I don't advocate for anyone doing that, but it's the kind of feels that I have when I see these kind of things happening because I'm fed up, and I think we're all fed up. And this is what's going to harm the leftist media narrative. They're starting fires. Los Angeles hasn't burnt enough. People wearing the Mexican flag are throwing gasoline. I mean, that's a white guy. He's got a water bottle filled with some sort of accelerant, and he's setting long brown grass on fire along the street in Los Angeles to protest that ICE is in the vicinity to deport illegal immigrants. More firecrackers being started near buildings in downtown areas. I mean, this is what is the point of this? Destabilization, chaos in the streets, barricades now. Is this because the populace is just so passionate about the issue? I don't think so. If you listen to this show enough, you know by now. I mean, try to get people to try to get people to come to anything that doesn't directly complement their own interests. Try to get 5 people in one place to do one thing. It's a nightmare when you're asking them to do it for free. But I bet if you offered people $200, they'd show up in any number of places. And I bring you this article from the Post Millennial. California anti-ICE protest group funded by Biden DHS grants. The Department of Homeland Security is funding one of the groups that is staging protests against immigration and customs enforcement, which falls under DHS. Give me an absolute break. These people broke the law. CHIRLA. Jeez, what an acronym. Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights was given a grant from Joe Biden's DHS in the amount of $450,000. I don't think I have a calculator app. Oh, I do. There it is. There it is. Right there. So if you have $450,000, we need to make this bigger. 400, no, that's 4.5 million. $450,000. And you paid protesters $200 a piece. You could finance a crowd of protesters numbering 2,250 bodies. I bet they could make a hell of a scene. Would you show up to protest for something that you were, just sort of moderately interested in for $200? I would really like to talk to someone that was invested not necessarily in something so nefarious, but anyone that had experience with just paying people to assemble, to find out what people would actually do. For what amount of money? You know, they play those hypothetical games all the time. For $1 million, would you insert homophobic scenario? You know how it is. Would you do this for $1 million? Would you do it for $500,000? I mean, where do you come down on this? Do you think it's actually organic? I mean, to me, it seems more likely that it's actually organic in a place like Southern California, where there's lots of illegal immigrants and families of illegal immigrants. It's gotten really out of hand in the last 2 days. Illegal immigrants are attacking our law enforcement for doing their job. And there was no incident that kicked this off. The public was notified, probably by these communist, Marxist local officials, that ICE was conducting raids and deportations in the area. And this is what we get. Also from the post-millennial, we have breaking: Trump to deploy 2,000 National Guard to quell immigration riots in Los Angeles. Why is this always coming up now? It was so unprecedented in 2020, in the summer of love, where I predicted people were most pissed off about being locked in their homes, and that many of the protesters were activated because of that. through their own motivation. The rage at being locked in their homes, not allowed to be free American individuals. And then it was discussed again under Biden. And Kristi Noem came out and said, nationalizing National Guard is unprecedented. Why are we talking about this every year now? The Trump administration is planning to send the National Guard into Los Angeles after 2 straight days of riots in which protesters and agitators clashed with immigration agents. The post-millennial writes on X, Trump has signed a memorandum to deploy 2,000 National Guardsmen to deal with the unrest in Los Angeles. Statement from the White House reads, in recent days, violent mobs have attacked ICE officers and federal law enforcement agents carrying out basic deportation operations in Los Angeles, California. These operations are essential to halting and reversing the invasion of illegal criminals into the United States. In the wake of this violence, California's feckless Democrat leaders have completely abdicated their responsibility to protect their citizens. That is why President Trump has signed a presidential memorandum deploying 2,000 National Guardsmen to address the lawlessness that has been allowed to fester. The Trump administration has a zero-tolerance policy for criminal behavior and violence, especially when that violence is aimed at law enforcement officers trying to do their jobs. These criminals will be arrested and swiftly brought to justice. The commander-in-chief will ensure the laws of the United States are executed fully and completely. Signed, Carolyn Leavitt, White House press secretary. I would be a lot more concerned, admittedly. I would be a lot more concerned if I thought this was actual organic protest. Natalie Winters writes, at Natalie G. Winters on X, one of the leading organizers of the violent LA ICE riots is the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights. The same organization that got the $450,000 DHS payout. She posts again, anti-ICE rioters in Los Angeles are being organized by the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles, which also receives funding from Act Blue. Biden's DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was the polar opposite of Trump's DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. Mayorkas was in favor of pathways to citizenship for those who came to the U.S. illegally, where Noem is enforcing immigration law. Shortly after taking office, Mayorkas spoke at a press briefing from the White House, telling would-be illegal border crossers, we're not saying don't come. We're saying don't come now. What a flaccid, feckless statement. You are telling them to come. What do they call that? A dog whistle. Here's Mike Johnson responding to, do I have too many windows open? I sure do. Never-ending struggle. Oh, man. You know what? You know what, I bet. Ads. I bet ads. So I'm not going to share it yet. Wow, no ads, you guys. Unbelievable. What are the odds? Why does it keep opening different windows? And why is there no consistency? I can't be the only one. This has to be an issue for everyone else. But for some reason, my ego makes me feel like I'm the only one. So Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, went on ABC to answer for Trump's actions in Los Angeles.
Do you have any problem or any concerns about the president sending in the National Guard to a place where local authorities say that they're not needed and could be harmful?
I have no concern about that at all. I think the president did exactly what he needed to do. These are federal laws. We have to maintain the rule of law, and that is not what is happening. And Gavin Newsom has shown an inability or an unwillingness to do what is necessary there. So the president stepped in. That's real leadership, and he has the authority and the responsibility to do it.
Secretary Hegseth said that active duty Marines there at Camp Pendleton, there by San Diego, are on high alert and could be mobilized. Could we really see active duty Marines on the streets of Los Angeles?
You know, one of our core principles is maintaining peace through strength. We do that on foreign affairs and domestic affairs as well. I don't think that's heavy-handed. I think that's an important signal.
You don't think sending the Marines into the streets of an American city is heavy-handed?
We have to be prepared to do what is necessary, and I think the notice that might happen might have the deterring effect.
Do you have any?
If you have foreign nationals attacking law enforcement, I mean, what would you call that? They don't want to say it's an invasion, but 20 million, I mean, that's the number they're going with now. 20 million immigrants coming across the borders, claiming asylum, being granted temporary protected status from Joe Biden's DHS. They're here illegally. What are they doing? We don't know. I mean, here's something that they're doing.
Because one of them is Dallas, Plano, Texas. So where are the hot spots across America right now? Because one of them is Dallas, Plano, Texas.
Texas in general.
Texas in general? What? Oh, wow.
I assess that, and my team assesses Houston as the single worst city in America for the joint Islamic communist movement is Houston. But other really bad areas, especially for the jihad, but also the communist support, the Dearborn, Michigan area,
Michigan.
Twin Cities, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
New York City, parts of LA.
Paterson, New Jersey?
Yeah. So that area around Paterson. It's pretty bad in the triangle area of like Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Nashville, Charlotte. Did I say Tampa?
No.
But even like Kansas City, Kansas, Wichita's pretty bad. Indianapolis, or excuse me, Plainfield, Indiana is the home to ISNA. So they have a base there. Chicago, I think I mentioned them earlier, horrible. And I don't just mean Chicago. I mean, pretty much draw a 35-mile radius around there. And the jihadi community is very thick and growing. And they are raising a ton of money internally, ton of money to expand what they're doing there.
What's a ton of money?
Like in a weekend, it's not unusual for them to raise several $1 million just to expand one thing they're working on.
Where's the money coming from?
From the Muslim community, the U.S. Muslim, because you got, these people are, engineers, doctors. I mean, they have money and they're putting it back into the Islamic movement.
And USAID.
Well, yeah.
This is what we learned. This is why we had to get rid of USAID. Because of what they were doing with that money. Using it to subvert our constitutional republic. And I don't even really blame the people. These are the statements of a former FBI agent. And he's telling us, essentially, allegedly, what all of these illegal immigrants are up to. And to what end? Well, I think I know. Have you all seen this video before?
The mayor of London is Muslim. The mayor of Birmingham is a Muslim. The mayor of Leeds is Muslim. The mayor of Blackburn is Muslim. The mayor of Sheffield is Muslim. The mayor of Oxford is a Muslim. The mayor of Luton is a Muslim. The mayor of Oldham is a Muslim. The mayor of Rochdale is a Muslim. All of this was achieved by only 4 million Muslims out of the 66 million people in England. Today in England, there are over 3,000 mosques. There are over 130 Sharia courts in England, and there are more than 50 Sharia councils. 78% of Muslim women do not work and receive state support and free accommodation. 63% of Muslims do not work and receive state support and free housing. State-supported Muslim families have an average of 6 to 8 children who all receive free accommodation. Every school in the UK is required to teach about Islam. The number one most common baby name in England is Muhammad. This is not immigration. This is invasion.
It's the peaceful invasion. The NGOs, the globalist elite, put pressure on the politicians to allow this immigration to happen. They steal elections. They install dementia patients into office who will sit idly by and take payments for access to an auto pen to allow this to happen. Many of these states and cities wanted to give these immigrants the right to vote in local elections. And then these politicians would be all too happy to do whatever the motivated voting populace would like them to do so that they can remain in power, so they can continue enriching themselves with taxpayer dollars and payments for the globalist elite who are so happy to put a few $100,000 extra in the bank accounts of these politicians that are facilitating the decay of Western society. Is that what you want? Do you want immigrants creating political policy in your country? Have you seen the countries that they come from? But we're all brainwashed. We have no idea what's coming. And that's because the mainstream media is happy to lie to you about what is happening. There are violent, illegal immigrants in Los Angeles right now attacking law enforcement. But the mainstream media is going to tell you that it's unprecedented, that Donald Trump is activating the National Guard, and Pete Hegseth is volunteering Marines for the job if the National Guard can't get it done. Because these aren't American citizens attacking the Border Patrol. And they'll lie to you and tell you, oh, we're doing fine. We don't need it. It's all for us. It's all a spectacle. Like Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is happy to start a civil war over this issue. To start a civil war over illegal immigrants demanding the rights of American citizens. And that includes due process. This headline from Breitbart: Gavin Newsom threatens to block California tax payments to federal government. Arrest him. I'm tired of this shit. Let the courts sort it out. Lock up the traitors and let the courts sort it out. It's time. It's time to be done with this. No more cutesy time, as Dan Bongino used to say. California Governor Gavin Newsom threatened Friday that his state would stop tax payments to the federal government after news reports suggested President Donald Trump was thinking of cutting funds to the state. Breitbart News reported President Donald Trump is reportedly considering ways to pull more federal funding from the state of California as Governor Gavin Newsom continues to defy White House policies despite needing money. California is suffering a large budget deficit for the second year in a row, with the state's Medicaid program borrowing money to stay afloat. Why does Medicaid need all this money? Oh, because they're giving free health care to illegal immigrants. Newsom has also asked the federal government for $40 billion in fire relief because California won't maintain its forests. California won't maintain its fire departments. California won't make sure that the reservoirs have water in them. And this scum has the audacity to suggest that he's going to secede from the union to become his own country? What do you think the dominant government in that state is going to be? Unbelievable. It is not clear what constitutional authority Newsom has to withhold federal taxes on behalf of individuals, businesses, and other entities within the state. Trump's authority to withhold funding is far clearer. Do you think, Gavin Newsom is not going to take this federal tax money that's been paid by the citizens of California and give it back to them. He's going to keep it himself. He's stealing your federal taxes, California. That's what he's doing. And he's doing it in the name of sticking it to Trump. Are you okay with this? Well, maybe it's time to make a phone call. Maybe it's time to make a sign and go stand out on the sidewalk. Maybe it's time to stop sitting idly by and waiting for somebody to hand you some cash to get up and stand up for your country. The DOJ is also going after officials in California for similar behavior. Here's Pam Bondi.
We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. As you know, we sued Illinois, and New York didn't listen. So now you're next. Millions of illegal aliens with violent records have flooded into our communities, bringing violence and deadly drugs with them.
I'm happy to hear from Pam Bondi. I'm happy to hear that she's doing things, but she's not good. She's not good in front of the camera. She's not good with her policies. I would really like to know. Of course you can't expect Donald Trump to come out and say, yeah, we made these deals behind closed doors, so we're all good. There's reasons that we're not aware of as to why Pam Bondi is the Attorney General. But what we're seeing on the face, what I am seeing, I'm not enthusiastic about. I'm not happy about it. With the whole Epstein thing and the documents, and she says, oh, there's 10,000 hours. She was caught. O'Keefe Media Group, which may be turning back into Project Veritas now. That's another one of those stories that is, oh, maybe something's going to happen, maybe not, which is why it doesn't really have a place in my podcast. They're in negotiations with James O'Keefe to maybe hand Project Veritas back to him because, of course, he was Project Veritas to begin with. He spoke out against Big Pharma and brought the receipts. So his board of directors said, you have to go, and made up a bunch of excuses. Well, they caught Pam Bondi the same way they catch many other miscreants. I don't think Pam Bondi is a miscreant. And she's telling someone, yo, there's 10,000 hours or thousands of, or tens of thousands, many, many hours of Jeffrey Epstein doing these things. But according to Kash Patel, who was on Joe Rogan, which I haven't listened to yet, all of that evidence has been destroyed, allegedly. Or we're just being told that it's being destroyed or that it's been destroyed for political reasons, which seems a lot more likely to me. I mean, how can you really expect that your government, Republican or Democrat, is not going to do politics the way politics is being done and is known to have been done? That's where I come down on a little bit. The Supreme Court ruled that Trump is allowed to fire heads of independent agencies. From the AP, Supreme Court allows Trump's firing of independent agency board members to take effect for now. Of course, they always put that in there. As a gesture to some random ass district court judge. Hey, please create a national injunction to stop this from happening again. The AP is very upset about it. Thing is, they're not independent agencies. They fall under the jurisdiction of the executive branch, of which Donald Trump is the head. He wants to fire these people. He wants to gut these agencies and get rid of them all completely because they're teeming with spies. They're teeming with enemies of the state, allegedly. Not just the states. Enemies of the people. Enemies that want to obstruct the agenda of the president that we overwhelmingly elected. That's why they're there. That is their function. That's what has been discovered. And it's all thanks to Elon Musk. At least he was the figurehead. Because even though Elon Musk has left Doge, Doge still exists. Doge is still working. Until now, perhaps. Elon Musk and Donald Trump have had it out. They're mad at each other. But before I get to that, did you know? I mean, this has just come back into the news, but I am just now hearing that a Ukrainian diving instructor is actually the one that bombed the Nord Stream pipeline. I heard this through the analysis of what's been going on in Ukraine, because I guess peace talks be damned, Ukraine and Russia are attacking each other. We covered this last week. Ukraine tried to kill Putin flying in his helicopter with a drone swarm. Unsuccessful. Then Ukraine attacked bomber planes in Russia and took out like 40 of them. Then they blew up a bridge into Crimea, or part of a bridge. All while these peace talks are supposed to be going on. And now Russia is shelling Kharkiv and Kyiv. Although I guess the reports so far are that only 7 people have died. Explain that one. But I predicted a long time ago, and I was dismayed when none of the experts thought that Ukraine could possibly be responsible for the destruction of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline that was supplying natural gas to Europe from Russia. They said, oh, it was Russia. Russia did it. How stupid does that sound now? I never once heard that the responsibility for the attack was being placed on a Ukrainian diving instructor. And when I looked it up, after hearing it just last week, I learned that this info came out in August of 24. And I wasn't even going to bring it up, except to ask you. Tell me in the comments, did you hear this story? Did you know that any blame was being placed on Ukraine at any point? No, it was Russia did it. Oh, it was somebody in Europe did it. It was, who did they? Belarus or Poland or something. One of those countries in the vicinity. And then it was sort of universally agreed upon, I guess, in the conspiracy circles that it was actually the United States that did it. And oh, this is a big deal because technically it's an attack on Germany, which is a NATO nation. And oh my goodness. But of course, nothing could happen because Biden was in charge. And there would be no investigations. But the violence continues to accelerate because this is the desire of the globalist elite. And now the attacks are beginning in the United States. And I don't think we should panic. I'm feeling okay about it because we have Donald Trump in charge. And he may do some things that we disagree with. But I truly believe that his motivation is to keep us safe and get us back on the right track. And maybe this doesn't, it doesn't all happen in a week, in 4 months, in 6 months. And this is one of the things I think that Elon Musk doesn't really understand. Because he's been really mad about the big, beautiful bill. And this is this is my favorite Trump impression right now. It's Ami Kozak. Oh, I closed it. Damn it. Hold on. All right. You know what we're going to do? I was just trying to manage my tabs. You see, this is what happens to me. Oh, and it wasn't even. Now I'm trying to close the stream. Lord help me. I think we got to just listen to it again. Because it's so good. It's so good. This is the phone conversation between Trump and Elon. Dude, it's still not sharing. What? All right, that's it. We're moving on. I'm tired of this. And now I'm angry. I was in such a good mood. And now I'm angry. I have the timeline of the dispute that took place between Elon Musk and Donald Trump over the week. From thesun.com. Elon Musk and Donald Trump spent the day trading barbs over social media with the Tesla owner calling for Trump's impeachment, and the president calling for the government to end all federal contracts with Musk's companies. Here's how it went down. On Tuesday, Musk tweeted that Trump's signature spending, quote, big, beautiful spending bill was a disgusting abomination that would add billions to the federal deficit. On Thursday in the Oval Office, Trump addressed Musk's criticism of the bill by accusing Musk of trying to kill it because the bill ends federal subsidies for electric vehicles, which would cost Musk's company, Tesla, significant profits. Musk responded by live posting on X as Trump spoke, and this initially shrugging off the president's assessment with an unbothered, quote, whatever, before tearing into the bill's other spending provisions. Trump escalated the feud after the Oval Office meeting with multiple posts on Truth, saying he told Musk to leave the White House instead of continuing to work with Doge and threatening to dump Musk's federal contracts, which are worth billions. Musk fired back on X by saying he was decommissioning the Dragon spacecraft made by SpaceX that brought the stranded NASA astronauts back from the International Space Station in March. Musk also escalated the war of words by reposting and replying yes to a tweet claiming that Trump should be impeached and replaced by Vice President J.D. Vance. Musk further fanned the flames by claiming that Trump is named in the infamous Epstein files and making unfounded accusations that it's the reason they haven't been released to the public. Now I really want to try to listen to that call again. Let's do it. We can do it. We can do it. I think it makes, maybe that was the right call. Maybe we should have listened to that or listened to this after we read that breakdown. Okay, here we go. Third time's the charm.
Hello?
Seriously, dude, like what the F?
Oh, it's just about Epstein?
No, like I told you that in confidence.
Yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't.
I told you that. I thought we were besties. I really did.
Well, so did I. Donald.
Well, look.
But I wanted
no,
to
that's
I wanted to cut spending. So
I was going to take you to the island. I was going to take you. Remember that? I was going to take you there.
You were?
We were going to have a good time, and you ruined it. You botched it. You botched it so badly. So badly, you botched it.
I just really wanted to make government efficient.
No,
so.
this is unforgivable that you would say that.
Well, you left me no choice, Donald.
This is like hose before bros level betrayal. That's
well, I have a lot of those. So.
And I was going to give you hose. I was going to take you there. I still know where it is.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's so wrong. It's so wrong.
Well, you left me no choice.
I let your little kid wipe boogers on my desk. You know that. In front of the press, I let him wipe little boogies, beautiful boogies, but I let him do it. I let him do it because I believed in our country. And I wanted you to be a part of that.
I know, but you screwed up.
You botched it so badly. It's unbelievable.
I didn't botch it.
You know what? You don't have the cards right now. You don't have the cards. I'm going to go burn my Tesla. How do you like that? You like that?
Oh, you go for it. Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
I was never even there, and you know that. I was never there.
What, on Epstein's Island? Yes, you were.
We can ask Epstein himself. I'll call him. I'll call him right now.
Oh, really? How are you going to do that? He's dead.
Oh, you think he is?
Well, yeah.
Jeff.
So he puts, at the end of the video, if you're just on the audio side, he puts the phone down and calls Jeff, alleging, insinuating that he's in the room, just sitting close by. Now, it seemed to have calmed down because that is what is being reported again in the post-millennial. It's a lot of post-millennial in the show today. I'm not really, I'm not apologetic about it at all, because the post-millennial is one of the few outlets that I actually trust to provide maybe slightly right-leaning information. But to me, it is still, my God, look at all those ads. I need an ad plugin. That's what I have. That's what I get for using Chrome. It's literally like 4 sentences and then an ad. But hey, I guess thanks for the free journalism. Elon Musk has since deleted the posts where he accused Donald Trump of being in the Epstein files because, I mean, come on, if he was If he was in the Epstein files, we would know that that evidence would not be deleted because the wacko Democrat left would happily. I mean, they would happily destroy many lives and have destroyed many lives to get to Donald Trump. From the article on Saturday, President Donald Trump said that he has not given any thought to canceling Elon Musk's federal contracts as the feud between the two figures seems to be dying down. During a phone interview, when he was asked about potentially canceling the contracts, he responded, quote, "I'd be allowed to do that, but I haven't given it any thought." He was also asked during the interview, "Is there anything else you just want people to know about the status?" Quote, "No, not at all. We're doing great," he added. "The bill is great. It looks like we're going to get it passed, looks strongly like we're going to get it passed." Trump said that he was very confident that the big, beautiful bill would pass through Congress by July 4th. The outlet reported that when Trump was asked about if Musk would later donate to Democrats in the election, the president said that the entrepreneur would face consequences for that. Over the past week, Musk launched criticism of the bill on X as the tensions between him and Trump blew open on Thursday. After Musk called the bill a disgusting abomination, I think, I think it's all fake. I think it's all theater. As soon as it happened, or maybe 24 hours after it happened, the initial fallout, fake tweets came out saying it was a prank. But of course, they were quickly debunked because the internet is the internet. So it seemed that the feud was persisting. But then Democrats started calling for the release of the Epstein files. And we were joking that pretty soon the Democrats would be calling for more cuts to the budget. And that support that Elon would now be receiving support from the left. I would love to believe that it's political strategy. Elon makes himself Trump's enemy, so the Democrats will support Elon, and more of the American public will support the cuts. The boards of Elon's various companies will stop asking him to resign. People will stop burning their Teslas or the Teslas of others. It makes a lot of sense, right? It does to me. They create this fake feud. It takes a lot of the political pressure off of Elon. Elon has then, in the public eye, apparently, quote, stuck it to Donald Trump, as everybody loves to do. But I mean, the debt is a real problem. I guess I saw this video on X, and we'll let this take us out. Well, no, I hate doing that. It never works. It never works when I try to let things take us out. I like how I end things anyway. I'm a little bit happy with it. But when we talk about debt, when we talk about global debt, well, let's listen to the aliens talk about it.
Want to know what I found out the other day?
What do you found out the other day?
Did you know the entire Earth is $315 trillion in debt?
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Who do they owe money to?
Bro, who are they getting money from?
It blows my mind that first off, you have everything on the planet here to live for free.
You literally have everything you need.
And then you invent a system
Uh-huh.
that creates a deterioration of your own resources.
You created a store of value that's literally storing less and less value every day. Every day.
And you're increasing your technology, and yet somehow you still owe money to someone, and it's $315 trillion. There's not enough paper to print that much cash. What are they doing?
Dude, Earth is like the worst meme coin. It's the worst.
It got rugged.
When you think about it in those terms, it sure sounds silly, doesn't it? It's all made up. It's all make-believe. But boy, we sure can spend a lot of time talking about it. Just a few quick things before we go. Kilmar's coming back. Did you hear that? Yeah, Kilmar, Abrego, Armando, Garcia. I don't even know if I'm getting those in the right order. He's coming back to the United States to face charges for all of the human trafficking and all of the other illegalities. It's pretty interesting. I'd really like to talk to the president of El Salvador to say, hey, why did we decide to do that? So, of course, all of the Democrats, I mean, this is why I believe it's political strategy. All the Democrats that were so outraged that this had been happening, they're all now distancing themselves because, turns out there's evidence. There's enough evidence. And there was a grand jury. Like, this is why I really think it was political theater. A grand jury has decided to indict him. Now, maybe they've had enough time to do it. But this is all scaring the Democrats because, there was a grand jury. We didn't know that. There was all this evidence that was shown to the grand jury about these things. There's enough evidence that a grand jury agreed that we should bring him back and indict him. So that's what we're doing. In Bondi's announcement on Friday, she detailed the charges against Abrego Garcia, accusing him of being part of a massive human smuggling network that runs from Mexico well into the interior of the United States. This is especially disturbing, she says. Garcia is also alleged with transporting minor children. The defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit. There are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. At this point, I kind of just wish that it was anyone but Pam Bondi, because I find her to be very not impressive. Trump has ended the Quiet Skies program, which was the program that was used to spy on people like Tulsi Gabbard, people friendly to the America First movement. And it wasn't just her. In a press release, the DHS said, since its existence, referring to the Quiet Skies program, the traveler surveillance program has failed to stop a single terrorist attack while costing U.S. taxpayers $200 million a year. The program, under the guise of national security, was used to target political opponents and benefit political allies. And it's gone now. It went largely unreported, not surprisingly. And finally, Joe Biden's doctor is being subpoenaed, as predicted. The headline from Fox News: Biden's personal doctor summoned as Republicans dig deeper into alleged cognitive decline cover-up. House Oversight Committee chairman subpoenas Dr. Kevin O'Connor after White House previously blocked testimony. And what do you think he's going to say? He's quoted in this article a little further down. I have never had a better commander than Joe Biden, O'Connor said in a profile interview with his alma mater, New York Institute of Technology College. Of course, he would have to say that at a college in New York if he didn't want to be burned at the stake as soon as he walked out the door. So what do you think? Are we all in big trouble? No, I don't think so. I think this is the kind of stuff that rolls out to make sure that you keep watching the news, because that's all these people care about. They want you to be afraid. They want you to be predictable. They want you to be compliant. They want to be important is the real deal. So keep coming back here Sunday at 11 a.m. and we can make fun of all of it, because that's what I have the most fun doing when it comes to these disgusting topics that seem to be all we hear about. Follow me on X at earthvox. I'm on Minds at the earthvox podcast. You can find me on the PlayStation Network. I'm earthvox on Discord. Send me a message there. Send an email to the real earthvox at protonmail.com. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave me a nice rate and review if you wouldn't mind. And of course, I'd be happy to hear your voice if you would leave me a voicemail at 701-787-1121. I'll be back.